I think I enjoyed the first episode of The Bold Type. And I say I think because I can't quite make up my mind. What I really think is that I would have preferred this if it was a film. I enjoyed the first episode, but the idea of watching what is currently 52 episodes of this doesn't seem that appealing to me. And I think that's because I don't really care about the characters, but I do like the concept. The description from IMDb for the whole series is as follows: a glimpse into the outrageous lives and loves of those responsible for a global women's magazine. Now, as a writer, as a huge fan of magazines, you have my full attention. Think Devil Wears Prada meets a film about magazines. I was trying to think of the best example and I can't think of one. There are many and yet none come to mind. But I loved that concept and it really appealed to me, and that's definitely something I enjoyed about this first episode. The editorial aspect of it, the different teams, the team meetings, the editor-in-chief, I loved. I thought she was brilliant. And I enjoyed all of that. So I guess I enjoyed the technical aspects of the structure, the corporate structure of a women's magazine. The characters, though, I didn't really care for. There's not necessarily anything bad about them. And actually, I think Kat played by Aisha Dee, I'm very curious to see what else she can bring to the table. She was certainly the most well-rounded, the most unique, the most individual, maybe the least problematic and the least annoying. So part of me wants to kind of watch it to see what happens with her character next. And if I do watch the next episode, which I do not know if I will, but if I do, certainly it will be for her. Katie Stevens plays Jane. Jane, to me, feels like your every woman. She's the one where everybody will be able to see a bit of themselves in. And that's really good to have that kind of protagonist, because it means there's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. And I can see her being the driving force behind a lot of the narrative going forward. So she's a very well-written character. Sutton, played by Meghann, Fahy or Fahy, I really did not like. I've got to say, nothing wrong with the acting, brilliant acting across the board, but as a character, Sutton bugged me straight away, which is a shame, because she's one of the three main characters, and it makes it kind of hard to want to watch the rest if I don't really like her. So one great character, one pretty standard driving force, and one I didn't like. To be fair, as far as mixed bags go, that's pretty decent. This whole narrative itself for this first episode was focused mainly on Jane trying to write a story that was called How to Stalk Your Unstalkable Ex, which was basically about how to spy on your ex-partner if they're not active on social media. Not exactly hitting journalism, but I enjoyed the creative process behind it. Kat meets an individual who has some very interesting viewpoints, and Sutton is sneaking around behind somebody's back, spending very intimate time with somebody she shouldn't be. So three very different problems, and I like the fact that the narrative is very different even this one episode. I should point out that this episode is 45 minutes. It's not your quick 25-minute episode. It's a bit more in-depth and has a bit more meat to it. But that also means that it's a lot more drama than it is comedy. I find that I prefer comedy that has a bit of drama. This is certainly drama that has a bit of comedy, and I didn't really find it funny at all, to be honest. But I was intrigued. So because of my love of journalism, my love of magazines, I might carry on watching it. But the characters are not enough to keep me engaged, except maybe Kat. So there's some things going for it, but I would have preferred it if it was a self-contained film, but that would obviously defeat the purpose. This first episode, the pilot, it's interesting enough. I think it sets things up well. It introduces the characters well enough that we get a feel of the different kind of personalities, the different kind of subject matters it will be dealing with. I fully understand, the background, that it's set primarily in the offices of a women's magazine, but we will visit other locations as well. It's not terrible. It's not that bad. It's not perfect. I wouldn't binge watch it, but I may give it a watch. If you've seen more of it, without spoilers, let me know if it gets better, if it's worth carrying on with. The Bold Type is quite good, but I'm still very much on the fence.